Hi everybody, sorry about that. Oh my god. Okay, I got distracted looking at my spider. I was like, oh, it's, you know, I listened to the intro music to know Boentropian, thank you so much. And Bankstuck, thank you so much. I can't believe it's been 25 months. Oh my god. J Atlantis, thank you so much. I cannot believe it's been a year. Loto Games, thank you. Thank you so much. I know that I say that wrong, and you know what? I don't know. Call your mom and cry about it, huh? I'm really sorry if I do say your name wrong. Any of you, you can tell me. I'll do my best to say it right. I said it right. And I just chose violence for no reason. I'm so sorry. I got distracted because I was looking at my spider. Meadowwork, thank you. Baby Darius, thank you. Oh my gosh, those are both a year, both of you. Yeah, got him. Ethan. So I listened to the intro music before my stream. I like dance to it. It hypes me up. I like it. For the person who was asking, it was originally supposed to be the instrumental for Together, but then I went in a very different direction. So you know, it happens. So now it's just my intro music, which is good. I'm glad I found a use for it, you know? God. Right, so I've been distracted because my spider is still molting, which is expected, right? It takes them a while when they're, like, adults. When they're, like, last two molts can take a really long time. But I fear the worst always, every time. Because if something is gonna go wrong for your spider, it's certainly gonna be during a molt. So, I just stare at her mostly. She built herself an opaque little, like, hammock to Molten, right? I've just been peering in there, like trying to see through the closed door what's going on in there. And she's like, "Ugh, I'm changing, Mom, don't look." So you know that's been our little back and forth. Also, hey, Awesome Possum, no freaking way. Hey, do all spiders molt? Yeah. So if you have a hard exoskeleton, right, and you want to get bigger, what you gonna do about it, right? You can't exactly grow that exoskeleton, can you? So what you gotta do is you gotta get bigger inside of the exoskeleton, right? You gotta get bigger in there, and then you walk around for a while as though you're wearing too small pants, which is probably why she wasn't jumping very much when I got her out before, and you guys were watching. So she was like ready to molt, so it's like her skeleton is too small and she's just like, eesh, right? And then what happens is over the course of a long period of time, Sosa, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the sub. She opens up that exoskeleton and she like slithers her way out of there looking all shiny and new. But also very soft, undercooked, like an unbaked cookie. And then she has to let the outer shell of herself harden. And then she'll be properly ready to show off. And the really fun thing about a spider molting, is that you never know what they're gonna come out looking like. So she could look totally different when she comes out. She could be a different color. She could be much darker or lighter. But yeah, it totally depends, and I think that's really fun. So who knows what she will look like? Did I say Bo's struggling with Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Of course I saw that. It was incredible. It was fantastic. Maman! I don't speak French. I should speak French. It's really not fair. You know, I adopted this poor French baby, and I have no way to connect her to her culture because I cannot speak French. Pulled up a video on percentages. Guys, should I tutor him? Gotcha, molting, no way, dude, for real though. For real. Dude, when your spider is molting, it's really like gotcha, cause you don't know. You don't know. I'm very excited to see how she comes out of this. I love her coloration now. I love that. Okay, this is something with regal jumpers that I adore, is that the females, they have like a little heart shape on their butt, and like depending on the female, it's more or less perfectly heart shaped. Genevieve, has the most perfect little heart shape on her butt. It's adorable. And I really, really hope that with the new molt, it's still very heart-shaped. But no matter what, she's perfect, you know? Cockbrows, thank you so much! And Toki, thank you! Oh my gosh. I can't believe how big the numbers are getting. Like, I don't mean like the numbers like followers or viewers. I mean the numbers like how long everyone has been here, you know? Like I was streaming for 2 years, but I was streaming to a relatively small audience, and there's a lot of turnover at that size. When you're a small streamer, people have extremely specific takes. Teach you Ross, Arviz, and Gazebo? Okay, sure. I will do that. You don't like the docs? I wrote some of those docs. I shouldn't say that. Strike, thank you so much for that gifted sub. It's not so bad. Come on. It's not so bad. It's not so bad. I think they're pretty well documented. Personally. But yeah, no, when you're a small streamer, people have extremely specific preferences for the size. Like you'll go from 30 to 40 concurrent viewers, and there will be people who are like, you're too big. I don't watch people above 30. And when you're at 20, like you get a different set of people. And so you run through people a lot. And so there aren't always people the Raw stocks were great? Yes, they were. Yes, they're excellent. Right. So I would have like people who stayed in the community. Shout out Oven Helium 3,000 times, you know? My first follower that I did not know. Ross, robot operating system. It's middleware that you can run on a robot. It runs like PubSub so that you can subscribe to topics and also publish to topics, so that, for example, if one of your sensors isn't connecting, you're not going to get like a set of crazy errors you need to debug. You're just not going to have any data on that channel. So everything that would subscribe to that channel can still subscribe to that channel. You're not going to get any connection errors. You're an undergrad and you've never done any robotics before. The dogs are the best way to get into it? Yeah, I would say follow tutorials. Personally, I always feel like things are easier to understand when they're applied. I know that there are some people who are smarter than I am, many in chat right now, who are going to be like, I actually keep it completely theoretical, and I have a very easy time keeping it all theoretical. But I don't. And so I like to look up tutorials. Even if I'm not following the tutorial, just seeing like, oh, this is how they got their thing running in Gazebo, right, is easier for me to understand than just like reading the docs and trying to figure out how to get mine. Yeah. It is an EU friendly stream. I almost always do EU friendly streams on weekends. But if doctors use Google, anyone can get away with using Google. Dude, it is absolutely crazy realizing that like doctors don't actually have any special knowledge or power. They are just engineers working on a system that they don't understand. But we've imbued them with a kind of power and authority, right? When my boss asks me like, Ellie, what do you think is going wrong here? I'm like, I don't know, right? Like I have 3 guesses, and I wouldn't bet on any of them. And that's all doctors are doing. But doctors, they're really self-important and annoying about it. I hate doctors. We're gonna get a lot of doctor hate here. This might be upsetting to some of you who are doctors. And I'm not talking about people with PhDs. I'm talking about medical doctors. I hate you. Hello, doctors. I hate you. I hate you all. Every single one of you disgusts me. And I'm really sorry about that. I'm sure that you got into it for good reasons. I'm sure that your dad is really proud of you. And I'm sure that feels great. But also, frick you, man. Frick you. And listen, what did doctors do to me? Nothing. They've never done anything for me. A doctor has never been of use to me. Like it's actually fascinating how useless doctors have been. Valid Crowshaw? Yeah. I don't know. Like, listen, man, you go to the doctor and they're just engineers. But nurse supremacy, real. Yeah, nurses are helpful. Nurses do all kinds of good, useful things, Maybe this is specific to the United States healthcare system. Maybe it is, but doctors are so freaking pleased with themselves for being mediocre engineers. I don't get it, man. Dentists are better than doctors? Yeah, for real. No, dentists are great. Dentists, if there are any dentists, they got some friendly fire here. I'm really sorry. Dentists, you're fantastic. You are real doctors, except for the fact that you earn your salary. Yeah, dentists, you're great. Nurses, you're great. Nurse practitioners, even better. Incredible work, you guys. Keep it up. You're doing great. Even some surgeons, I would say, they earn their keep. That's pretty cool. Doctors? Yeah, a bunch of garbage people, honestly. Okay, this is not fair. My cousin is a doctor. There are plenty of doctors I love very much. Mostly, I just think that doctors, they get so much, vets are great. Vets are very important. Vets are lovely. Vets saved my cat. Doctors almost killed my sister, but vets saved my cat, So I realize that this is not fair. I realize that there's nothing actually wrong with doctors, but there are a few reasons I resent them. One, they get so much love and appreciation from everyone. People act like they're heroes. And I've never seen a doctor do something useful in my life. Two, I think that they present their theories with so much more confidence than any engineer should. Especially for a black box system. You guys don't know what you're doing. Especially anyone who works in, psych. You don't know what you're doing. No one knows what you're doing. You're working on something that no one understands. Doctors think your genetic disease is because you're fat? Dude, this is many such cases. Many such cases, huh? Dude, doctors will just diagnose you with, clearly you're doing something wrong, right? Right? They're like... They'll literally just, if they don't understand something, instead of being like, oh, maybe I have some learning to do, they'll just be like, oh, you've done something wrong here. I would be able to diagnose you if you hadn't done something wrong. Clearly, you've done something wrong. You aren't sleeping enough. You aren't eating the right amount. And that is why. That is why I can't solve this problem. Not because I'm an okay engineer working on a system I don't understand. Because of a problem with you, actually. You do appreciate the doctor that removed your appendix? Like I said, some surgeons earn their keep. But just like a doctor, oh my god, dude. Oh my god. I go to one every year, and for what? Dude, all she does is she tries to sell me her, weird, expensive milkshakes. She's like, let's talk about nutrition really quick. And I'm like, okay, cool. And she's like, do you eat enough fiber? And it's like, brother, I eat too much fiber. If you haven't written in your chart by now that all I freaking eat is beans, what are you talking about? And then she'll be like, oh, well, for people, who don't eat fiber, I usually suggest like a protein fiber smoothie. You can buy our mix up front. Freaking grifter, right? Who cares? And then she weighs me, which I can do at home, and also, who cares? And then, okay, this is the other thing, is she'll sometimes check my height. Ma'am, I think I've stopped growing. I don't think you have to keep doing that. She'll sometimes check my height, and it's not always the same, which I feel like should tell her something about her tools and metrics, but it doesn't. What else does she do? Oh, she checks my blood, which feels like a lot like horoscopes. Thank you. Because she'll just she'll get the results back and she'll be like, you need to do this differently. And then the next year she'll be like, you need to do that in the other direction. You did a good job changing that, but you need to change it in the other direction now. And it's like, I didn't change anything. I take everything that you say with a grain of salt. Nothing you say means anything to me. So I didn't change my behavior whatsoever. The other thing is that she's always like, be sure that you're getting exercise. And it's like, I run every day. You have this in your chart. I run every day. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to be doing? It checks for prediabetes, among a lot of other things. She just does the full sweep of blood tests. I think because she gets more money for charging my insurance for it. And I don't care because I have the kind of insurance that covers that. So who cares? It's not like I have a bad doctor. I've only had bad doctors, dude. This is the best doctor I've ever had. Who cares? Cardio get to lifting? Absolutely not. You can't make me. People who are like, oh, cardio's bad. You should be lifting. I literally don't care. Do you know why I run? I run because I like to run. I put on worship music. This might surprise some of you. No, I'm not religious. I like to run to worship music. I don't know. It's very contemplative. It makes my mind feel open in the morning. It makes me feel. Any pre-diabetes advice? I don't have pre-diabetes, so no. I would suggest talking to a medical professional. What does worship music sound like? It all sounds exactly the same. So it's really easy. It's just like, till I open my heart to God, right? It all sounds like that, and the guitars are playing these like very lovely open chords, and there's so much reverb. Oh my God, there's just reverb out the butt, just reverb forever. The song ends, and then it takes 10 more seconds for the song to actually end, right? I'm spicy this morning. I know I'm really spicy this morning. I'm sorry. I didn't take my meds because I was at a wedding last night, and so I like had to stay the night at the hotel there, and then I just got home, and so yeah, I adore, yeah, worship music can come in many shapes, can come in many ways. Wait, why are people saying I'm Midwest? What did I say that was Midwest? Did I say ope or something? I've been careful about that. I've been trying not to say ope. Also, diminished chords, real, true, yes. Oh my God. So wait, what did I say that was Midwest? I've been trying to sound less Midwest. I like to run in the morning to worship music. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Did I say hope? Oh, the music is Midwestern worship. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was trying. Okay. I wasn't. I don't know if I was strictly trying to hide it. I just like. Okay, guys, this is embarrassing, but like, I don't want. For a long time, people would come into my stream and they'd be like, "Oh, very Midwest." Ope. You know, how's it going there, right? And I didn't necessarily want to. Thank you, Ceridius. Thank you, Crazy Fruit. I didn't necessarily want to be seen that way. I want people to be like, who's this cosmopolitan city robot? Who's this this big city girl making it in the big city? You know, I don't think I'm passing. I don't think I'm confusing anyone. I just give Midwest vibes? What do you mean by this? What do you mean by this? Dude, I looked so sophisticated at the wedding yesterday. I swear to God, I looked so sophisticated. I was wearing my sister's dress, which meant that, like, it didn't quite fit, but in a way that looked, like, elegant. How do I explain this? It was like... It came down in the front. Not like down. Don't worry. I wasn't like getting arrested. But it came down in the front because my sister is actually woman-shaped and I'm shaped like Macaulay Culkin. So it was like a little low in the front. And I'm going to tell you, people, I was supposed to play a song on piano. They didn't have a piano. Classic, many such cases. Instead, I wound up playing the song on guitar. Groomsmen helped me a lot with that arrangement. And I don't think that would have happened if I had dressed myself. I'm just saying, I looked like a sophisticated city woman yesterday. I looked like if you asked me my favorite bar, I wouldn't say the arcade bar that has Pac-Man. I looked like if you asked me my favorite bar, I'd say somewhere that had like expensive cocktails, where I would order like an old-fashioned or a... Please God, I know the name of one other cocktail. I'm sure I know the name of another cocktail. A Manhattan! An old-fashioned or a Manhattan. Did anyone ask me my favorite bar at the wedding? No, because I stand in a very particular way. A White Russian. Negroni. Ellie rom-com incoming? Listen, if it were gonna happen, it would have happened already. I've been plenty quirky for a lot of years, man. I've been accidentally channeling Zooey Deschanel since people knew who Zooey Deschanel was. Like, you think for a second, if I was gonna have a meet cute if people were gonna rom-com me, they would have done it by now. Cocktail stream? Well, the problem is that they all taste like rubbing alcohol and they all smell like hospitals. See, we're back to the doctor thing. Every single cocktail, people will be like, oh, Ellie, you'd love this one. It's so fruity. And then you have a sip of it and you're like, oh, it tastes like a hospital smells. Very cool. Thank you. It tastes like gummy bears and a hospital. Awesome. You know? So yeah, I'm not huge. Not huge on it. Not huge on it. You can't say they smell like hospitals. They do, though. They smell like alcohol. Every single time someone's like, oh, you can't even taste the alcohol in this one. Yes, you freaking can, you loser. Oh my God. People will be like, oh, this is a really sweet wine. And it's not. First of all, it's not. Hand sanitizer tastes good? No, it doesn't. I promise. Oh, Zooey Deschanel. She was like, okay, how do I explain Zooey Deschanel to people who weren't there when Zooey Deschanel was famous? She's like a beautiful woman who conned all of America into believing that autism was hot for like 10 minutes in the 2000s. She got herself some like nice thick bangs and like a big pair of glasses. And she yeah, she made boys think that autism was cute for a second. And I love her for that. But you know, she doesn't exist anymore because when women turn like 35, they turn invisible. And if you point a camera at them, you can't see them anymore. So they can't be in movies because they don't show up on film anymore. So, you know. The new girl actress. Yeah, that's Zooey Deschanel. She was very talented. I want to be clear. I think that it's more than that. Sort of like Aubrey Plaza. Aubrey Plaza has weaponized her autism in a way. Okay, very different categories. I would say Zooey Deschanel is like the kind of autistic where she'll like bluntly tell the waitress that you didn't order pickles because she doesn't understand that she's supposed to be embarrassed about it. Aubrey Plaza she has weaponized her autism. She will find a way to order you pickles because she knows you don't like them and that you're too uncomfortable to tell the waitress that you don't want them. And Aurora only eats pickles and lives in the woods. I would say like they're all archetypes of desirable autistic women. Nathan Fielder type autism. Yeah, oh my God. Nathan Fielder is a monster. I would do anything for him. Oh my God. Nathan Fielder is my Lord and Savior. Nathan Fielder, yeah, that's the actual autism spectrum. People imagine that the autism spectrum is just like, are you more or less autism? Which is so dumb. That's dumb like rocks, by the way. That's so dumb. No, you're not like more or less autistic on like a spectrum like that. That's really stupid. Like a lot of people assume like, oh, Ellie, you're not that autistic, right? A lot of people who've seen me in only some contexts, particularly on the internet, because there are things, right, that every person struggles with and doesn't struggle with. And for people to assume like, oh, you're not that autistic. I have autism. Oh yes. I was diagnosed in second grade. In the same assessment that they had me skip the rest of second grade. And it's stupid. I'm actually not high masking. I'm not even very good at masking. And I don't have the same relationship with masking that a lot of autistic people have, I think. I hear a lot of people now talking about their mask as though it's like, my mask, the facade I show to the world because they cannot handle the true me. It's all very like, woe is me, okay, Batman. And it makes me cringe. Masking is fun. It lets you observe the real humans. More than observing, for me, I think. Masking hurts. Okay, I'm not gonna be a dink about it. I want to be a dink about it. I want to be like, everything hurts sometimes. I don't know, get over it, right? Like, I don't think masking hurts. I think that anything you do with other people has inherent risk and can hurt under the wrong circumstances. But the whole idea of like just mask long enough that it becomes who you are, all of these things, I don't know. Here's how I feel about it. I built a device through which I can communicate with other people, right? You hate other people too? Lame, sad, weak, boring, coward, do better. So, the deal with masking is that I don't see it as something that that must be done to me. I don't know. It just feels so wiener behavior to talk about it like that. A mask is like a wheelchair, right? Like people talk about it, but it's what sets me free, right? If I didn't have a mask, I wouldn't be able to go out and talk to people, right? And instead, I get to go out and talk to people. Everyone masks, even non-autistic people. That's also kind of a wiener take, right? That's like everyone sits in chairs, not just people who use wheelchairs. And it's like, I mean, sure, but that's not really what we're talking about here, nor is it especially interesting, right? When people are like, I'm a little bit different around different groups of friends, I use a different voice when I'm talking to my boss. It's like, yeah, okay, cool. Very interesting to me. Thank you for sharing. I don't know, sit down. But like, For me, a mask is something that I made. It is a piece of technology that I have engineered to allow me to communicate with other people. And I'm always working on it. I'm always making it better. And I like it. I'm proud of it. Your wife says masking gets exhausting sometimes. Oh, for sure, right? I mean, this is the real thing, right? Is like, there are some mobility devices that take more energy to use than, not having to use a mobility aid. But they still allow you to do something kind of magical, right? So, for me at least, I don't know. I like my mask. I worked hard on it. I'm glad people like it. And now, I sell it on the internet for money. I mean, that's kind of a crazy way to think about it. And I don't know if people are gonna hate that. But low-key, that is kind of what I'm doing. Like when I think about it, I think that it's much harder for a lot of normal people, neurotypical people, not just normal people, to get into streaming because they don't know how to crank everything up, right? Everything isn't on a dial that they have control over. But I think it's actually really easy. I think it's part of why so many streamers are autistic, ADHD, whatever. I think a lot of it is that, like, you know how to make a kind of presentation that is authentic, but is also, tunable. Highly tunable. So, the other things that I think I would say are, I know that there are people, and I tend to belittle these people, but that's actually very bad behavior of me. Please do not let my belittling of them make you belittle them. They are valid. Their suffering is valid. But there's a kind of like hot girl on TikTok who's like, oh, I wasn't diagnosed until this year because I'm just so good at masking. I've had so many friends my whole life, but they just haven't known the real me because I'm so hot and I'm so good at masking. I just come off as so normal and hot. People don't realize I'm autistic and I want to punch these women. And that's like bad. That's bad. But like I do, because it just feels like wah boo hoo. I've never passed as normal, man. Right? Like I do my dangdest at masking, right? Like I put my effort into my mask. I build it so hard, I build it so strong, I build it so tough, and the best I freaking get is like I can communicate what I want to communicate. People mostly understand. I mostly understand them. And we get along, right? We exchange the information we have to exchange. No one comes out of it thinking I'm normal. I've never had an interaction where someone at the end of it was like, yeah, Ellie's definitely neurotypical. Skill issue? I know, man. I know. I'm doing my best. But at the same time, right? Like, and I'm masking is fun until you want to die. Skill issue. That's also a skill issue. I don't know what to say, man. It's like, I mask pretty dang hard. And at the end of it, I don't come out of it looking normal, right? My autism, what do you call it when they examine you for it? Assessment. My autism assessment happened when I was in second grade. I don't know, man. They didn't have a hard time with that, right? They tested me for it because I was taking my shirt off in class. We switched to a uniform, and the new shirt for the uniform was like really, really scratchy. What's your masking, Elo? Not very good, dude. Not very good. Yeah, I aced the autism test. And it was really scratchy and I didn't like it. So I kept taking it off in class and they were like, we gotta figure out what's going on there. And then like in the process of that assessment, they figured out that I was somewhat ahead on some things, mostly because my mom was a math teacher and I was just like stuck in her room after school all the time. And the other math teacher who shared her room was very important to me and I loved her very much. And I would ask her a lot of questions and she would tell me answers and stuff. And so at some point during that assessment, they decided to move me up a grade. And also second grade is like 7 or 8. Yeah. 7 or 8. So that was when I was diagnosed, right? Competitive autism. So that was the first grade that I skipped, and it was also me getting diagnosed. I didn't have a lot of information about what autism was or what it looked like at the time. I think now there's a lot more information. And I am kind of jealous of that, right? At the time, all my parents really had was ABA, which I don't know if you guys know what ABA is. It's not good. If you have the opportunity to put your kid through ABA, I would say don't do that. I wouldn't suggest that you do that. You started off as a kid who just wanted friends, so you had different masks for different friend groups, and then you forgot how to take the mask off. This is the thing. I don't feel like my mask isn't me. The whole thing where people are like, oh, me versus my mask, I don't remember what's me anymore. You and your mask are the same thing. The same way that your feet have changed shape to fit the shoes you like to wear. Over years of wearing them, you have changed shape to fit the mask you wear. You built that mask. If anything is you, it's your art, right? My music is me, my mask is me. I built both. I built both for me to express myself with. And yes, I have changed to fit my mask, and yes, my mask has changed to fit me. When people talk about like, oh, it's so hard, my mask versus me, it's the same guy. I don't know. My mask is me. If you like my mask, you like something I made. You like my art. So, thanks. ABA is where they train a child like you'd train a dog, but honestly, I don't really think people would even treat dogs like that. It's just like training for children. It's really gross, man. It's really disgusting. And they do mean things to you. I didn't like it, and I don't know anyone who did. I wasn't traumatized by it. I think a lot of people were. I think a lot of people had a really, 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 really bad time with ABA. I just had a regular bad time with ABA. If you do the thing that they want you to do, you get a sticker. And if you do the thing that they don't want you to do, then you get several kinds of punishments. But the thing is, with autistic kids, you're mostly not doing the thing that they want you to do, not because you don't understand or because you are being difficult. It's because, yes, sticker. It's because it's unpleasant or it hurts you. So for me personally, right, they would reward me for doing things that were physically uncomfortable or emotionally uncomfortable or made me feel bad or weird. And they would punish me for things that made me feel comfortable and safe or drawing boundaries. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't like doing that. I don't want to touch like that. I don't want to look in someone's eyes like that. And I will say that even in the best case scenario, and I would consider my situation one of the best case scenarios for ABA, it leaves you with some difficulties, some real difficulties. I had a long time where I really didn't understand that I could say like, oh, please don't touch me like that, right? I've talked about the fact that at my first job, I had a coworker who would just touch my leg all the time. He just always had his hand on my leg. And I didn't like that, but I didn't really understand that I could say no, not because I was, a girl or young or, new at the place of employment, but because of ABA. Because I had this sense of like, well, what makes other people feel comfortable is what matters. And I do things that make me feel uncomfortable for other people's comfort all the time. And that was kind of when I was like, oh, I'm not doing eye contact anymore. Like, actually, frick you. No, I don't have to do that. Eye contact is something that I can choose when I want to do it with someone, like any other form of contact. I don't actually have to do this. And it doesn't matter if it makes other people feel more comfortable if I look them in the eyes when I talk to them, because it makes me feel uncomfortable to look them in the eyes when I talk to them. Unless, alternatively, they are someone I want to look in the eyes, right? Sometimes I will look in someone's eyes and it means a lot to me, right? I think eye contact is kind of beautiful and powerful, but it's also reserved for people who I feel like very, very close to, and only in some very particular situations. Eye contact is trust? I wouldn't say that. For me, there are a lot of people that I trust, right? A lot of good friends I would never make eye contact with. But sometimes when I'm playing a song with someone and it's going really, really well and we're just very in tune, making eye contact feels right and normal. But yeah, for the most part, no. I just won't make eye contact with you. I won't shake your hand if I don't want to. Because I don't like that. I don't like that sensation, and I don't have to. What about nose contact? Nose contact is actually fine. I have a lot of friends who will boop my nose, and I'm good with that. But, you know, for me, at least, it's, realizing that I don't have to do something just because it makes someone else comfortable. The other thing is that, like, sensory overload, for me at least, it's very much like pain. It's not exactly pain. It doesn't really feel like pain, but it lights up your body the same way that pain does. It's impossible to ignore, and it's extremely aversive, the same way that pain is, and does. And so I had a very hard time understanding why my pain would matter to people, but my sensory overload wouldn't. And so learning that you just have to smile through it. If you are experiencing sensory overload, you just smile and clap, and you just keep nodding your head to the music and just keep hanging out and be a good time, right? Learning that stuff also kind of taught me that, like, pain doesn't matter. I had an experience in college with friends, including Joe, where I had glass in my shoe, and I just kind of didn't tell anyone. And we walked around all day, and then at the end of the day, I took my shoes off, and I was like, oh, thank God, I finally get to take my shoes off. I had glass in my shoes all day, and my feet were bleeding quite badly. And people were like, why didn't you stop? Why didn't you, Joe is my best friend. Well, one of my best friends. Joe, John, that whole crew of guys, I play games with them. I'm actually probably going to be playing games with them tonight. I don't actually know. I think Joe is, like, away somewhere right now. But probably with John. My group of college friends. But I didn't realize, because I put up with things that are as aversive for me all the time at that age, right? All the time I was putting up with things that were that uncomfortable and aversive, and it just, like, I didn't really understand why this one mattered, you know? Right? All the time, someone would be playing music in a way that was, like, so loud and not a kind of music I liked, and in a situation where I had to be focusing, and it was as unpleasant as glass in my shoe, right? So why do people care about glass in my shoe? And so that was also when I started carrying around earplugs, because I was like, oh, I don't actually have to put up with unpleasant stimuli. The point of this signal in my brain is to make me stop doing this, so I'm gonna stop doing it. And now, when things are unpleasant, I just leave. They can't stop you. Just leave. But yeah, Bo needs my help. He's not calling me. If he calls me, I'll answer, but he hasn't. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I still haven't gotten anything from him, but, you know, if he wants to call me, I have Discord open. Do not pick up? Oh God. Jesus. Fine. I won't answer. Yeah, Bo is also a best friend. So is Shumi. So are Cerber and Minnie. I am very blessed at this point in my life to have many friends. But that's one of the other things about the hot, high-masking TikTok autistic girls, is that they're always like, oh, I had so many friends, but none of them really understood me. And it's like, bro, I would have given anything. I would have given anything for so many friends, regardless of whether they understood me, right? Like, holy, man. You can make someone understand you if they're your friend. You know, if you're willing to put in the work, you can make a friend understand you. But, like, not if you don't have a friend. And, like, I was surrounded by, are any of the hot yoga moms high masking? No. I don't think any of them really give me, autism? They're not, none of them are giving autism, but one of them is really given ADHD. So, you know, that's kind of the same guy. I'm honestly not really sure what the difference is, right? I am diagnosed with both. I was diagnosed with autism in 2nd grade. I was diagnosed with ADHD in 7th grade. Fun fact, those are the 2 grades that I skipped. Every time I skipped a grade, they gave me a new diagnosis. But it kind of makes sense, right? There's some logic to it, right? It's like, oh, if we didn't know this about you, then we kind of have to reassess your level and everything, right? So I didn't. They're highly correlated with monotropism. Yeah, being able to pay attention to one thing at once, right? Like the like. So anyway, grade skip debuff? I don't even know, man. What I do know is oh, you got the being held back autism. Yeah, no, listen, I know I have no right to complain, right? I complain all the time about not getting, like, hot girl high masking autism, but in fairness, I did get, like, rich boy tech math autism, so I don't really get to complain. That's, like, the 2nd best kind of autism to get. Listen, if I'm gonna get a kind of autism, you know, if I get the rich boy tech job autism, I can't really complain. So, like, sure, I would have loved the kind of autism that makes you famous on TikTok where you're just like, oh, it's just been so hard for me. You don't understand. It's like people see me and they just see how big my boobs are and they don't understand how much I'm hurting in my heart, right? I would have loved that kind of autism. That's not what I got. But in fairness, you know, I do have a very nice tech job. So, you know, I'll take it. I need to stop making fun of these women. Their pain is real. I need you guys to know that their pain is super valid. And I'm the jerk. I'm being a jerk. They are good people. Their pain is valid. I'm just bitter. I'm just jealous. We're still hating. Thank you for hating with me, but I want you to know, when this stream ends, please stop hating these women. They've done nothing wrong. Yeah, where on the spectrum is big boobs? I would like to know. No, but usually when people talk about, like, oh, where on the spectrum are you? What they're asking is, how autistic are you? And the answer is confusing, right? Because often when people, at least in America, I don't know if this is everywhere, when people ask, like, how autistic are you? What they mean is, like, can you still make money? To which the answer in my case is, like, yes, I can, right? But then there are other questions that ought to come up alongside this, like, can you spend money? And the answer is no, I can't. I can't. I cannot go to the grocery store. I cannot do it alone, at least. I really, really struggle. I struggle to honestly go anywhere, right? I can do my commute to and from work. And I can do that just fine. I really struggle with public transportation. I need to be on the phone with someone, and I need a map open the whole time. It's not even because it's hard to picture or plan out. It's like embarrassingly difficult. DoorDash is an option, but at this point in my life, right, I mostly I plan it into my walk home from work, right, because that is predictable. So I stop off and I just, like, get things on the way home from work because I'm already out. I'm already in my out of the house clothes, and I can at least Diamond. Am I on the spectrum? Oh my god, Ellie Minibutt on the spectrum? This is big news, guys! I don't know, am I? Do I have a driver's license? Yes, but I rarely make use of it. I do drive, but it's not safe. Like a lot of autistic people, my reaction time falls off a cliff when we're looking at pressure, when there is a lot of sensory input. So, for example, do I have a car? Kind of. I share a car. I have access to a car. The whole driving thing is like, I can drive quite well, unless there is sun coming through the windshield very brightly, or there is a car going by that's really, really loud, you know? There can be situations where my reaction time drops. I lose the ability to take in the information around me. And it's quite stressful. It's quite stressful. I don't get the sense that it's completely safe. Do sunglasses help? Yeah, How many crashes? None, but it's because I'm extremely tense. The entire time I am driving a car, I am clenching every muscle in my body. I drive, and then the next day I feel sore in places I didn't even know I had muscles, man. Like parts of me that should not be getting a workout are getting a workout because I am tense the entire time. So it's normal to freeze when you get nervous? I mean, it depends, right? And it depends on what we're talking about as freezing, right? So there are a lot of people who have anxiety where when they get nervous, which is not exactly what I have or what I described, right? I didn't say anything about nervousness, but people often misinterpret autism as anxiety. And I say this not just because I am personally bitter about the ways that my autism is perceived as anxiety, but also because, I think it's useful for people to know. I think that there are a lot of people who think that they are anxious and really they're just autistic. But I don't know for sure. But anyway, for me at least, freeze is something that you do if you are anxious, right? You freeze up because you're scared, right? And you can't move. You're too scared to move. That's not what it feels like for me. For me, I just kind of stop taking in information about my surroundings, and then afterwards I am quite afraid because I'm like, I don't know if there were cars around me just now. Like, I have to check my blind spot again because I am not aware of the road state. Because it's not spacing out. I think it's really hard to describe if you don't experience it. It's certainly not normal, Henrik. Dissociation, no, oh my god. You guys keep using anxiety words to describe an experience that you just don't have. It's not that your brain stops recording, it's that, more like tunnel vision, yeah. So you can take in only a certain amount of information and process it at a given time, right? So for me, yo, thank you, Ekans! I'm glad! Okay, you are currently filtering out many sensations. It's a common thing to be like, oh, you're filtering out the sensation of your tongue in your mouth, and that is true. You're filtering out the sensation of your clothes on your body. If there is air flowing through the space you're in, you're filtering out the sensation of that on your body. There are flavors in your mouth that you are not paying attention to. Your nose might be stuffed and you're not thinking about it, right? There are a million things going on. You are now breathing manually, right? All of these things. Now, for an autistic person, you're more aware of this. You're more aware of this much more of the time. And because of that, it makes it harder to process the sensory information that you're taking in the moment, right? If something is very loud, it's loud to other senses too. I think the best way to explain it is that, okay, for you, if you're in a very loud room and someone says something to you, you have to be like, wait, sorry, what was that? It was loud, I couldn't hear you. Now imagine if there was spillover into other senses. So if it was very bright and someone said something to you, you'd have to be like, wait, sorry, can you repeat that? The light is very loud, right? And I think that's the best way to explain it. So when a car drives by and it's very loud, it's too bright, I can't see, right? Right? Yoga moms are super loud. Yes, the hot yoga moms are crazy loud. I have a fantastically terrible time whenever I go out with them, and yet I'm still trying to do this to myself. Wouldn't that be synesthesia? No, not even remotely. Synesthesia is when different senses have relationships to each other, not their power spills into the power of others, right? It's where you're like, yellow is a sweet baby boy, or yellow smells like the number 9, you know? That's not what I'm experiencing. What I'm experiencing is that all of my senses are sharing resources. And so if one is using a lot of resources, my others don't have as much bandwidth, right? I just cannot, I can't. Yeah, RAM is limited. Yeah, so anyway, the bandwidth is capped out. That's a good way of saying it. So, that's how I'd explain it. And it's not anxiety, right? Sometimes there are situations where having this happen will make you anxious, right? If you're at a work event and you can't hear what people are saying and you're having a hard time thinking well, you are going to be embarrassed, nervous, worried that someone is going to say something to you. I need you guys to know that at a VTuber networking event about a year ago, someone asked me if I was a VTuber. And I did not understand the question, and based on her facial expression, read that my answer ought to be no. And so I was like, oh, no. Anyway, this person is a VTuber I really respect and like. And so when she found out that I was a VTuber, she thought that I just didn't like her and didn't want to talk to her for like a year. For like a whole year. So, I talk about this kind of situation making me nervous, and people think that the problem is anxiety, but it's not, right? I'm nervous about this kind of situation because I'm bad at it, and that'll make you pretty dang nervous, having to do something you're bad at that people don't even fully understand the way you're bad at, right? Like, when you try and explain it to people, they mostly get anxiety, and they're like, oh, that's okay, I'll stay with you, you know, I'll make sure that you don't get scared, I'll reassure you. And it's like, I don't really need reassurance. I need, you know, I need the music turned down. I need earplugs, right? I need to put on a dress that I can't feel on my skin so much. I need to put on looser clothes, right? There are all of these things that might help, but it's not really about anxiety. And when you try and talk to people about it, they usually get, you know, anxiety out of it. So especially when you're like, oh, I need to be alone for a second, people feel like, oh no, like we've made her feel bad and she's like running away and we want to show our support by staying close to her. And it's like, please don't stay close to me. I don't feel bad. I love you very much. I don't feel like you don't care about me. I feel like the world is too tight right now and I need to take it off for a second. Yeah, I love you, but go away. And it's really hard because people will try and take care of you that way. If only we could mentally share thoughts, right? Oh, I mean, that's what music is. That's what it's for. At least for me, that's how I feel it. But yeah, no, people really struggle to understand that it's not anxiety. I don't feel anxious. Sometimes having to do this in a public place will make me anxious, like with driving, right? I'm fundamentally going to be bad at driving in a lot of pretty unpredictable situations with possibly very bad consequences. So when I drive, I am nervous. But the problem isn't nervousness. Nervousness is a very, very rational response to the situation. So, anyway, anxiety isn't the cause, it's a potential side effect. Exactly. And so I think that a lot of autistic people get anxious about social situations because they're bad at them and they're not sure they'll be understood. Personally, I don't that much anymore. I have stopped caring, particularly. Neurotypical people don't get it, but also sometimes other autistic people don't get it. I mean, it's really hard to explain these kinds of very subjective and personal experiences, right? So, yeah, but I care less now. You would hate driving in NYC? Yeah, driving in NYC is awful, truly. Although you rarely have to do it. NYC is like the best city for public transpo in the US, which our European friends today will find galling, but it is true. It's quite nice. You envy the not caring. I mean, there are situations where I care more or less. I struggle at work still because I care, right? I care quite a bit at work. Ah, yes, the deer lady. I was briefly a small streamer again. Yeah, the tech fields, there are so many autistic people that it's super forgiving. This I would agree with, although there's this phenomenon that tends to happen when you work at a bigger company, right? So you have your little group of tech people, right? And then they're all gonna avoid it. Most of them aren't even gonna be there. If there's like a work party coming up, they're all gonna be like, oh, achoo, I'm so sick. Oh no, I can't go. Whereas, Fips toggle someday, yeah. Whereas, all of the people who work downstairs, right? Like all of the like HR people, all of the people on like product in the sense that they're like designing stuff, they're all gonna be there. And there is a way that like, and I mean this is a positive thing. This is really nice. Those are all girls who know that I'm a girl, who know that they don't know me as well, and they all try and include me in things. And I think that's really, really sweet, right? Do I happen to know what happened with Neurodog Tootle? Do I happen to know what happened with Neurodog Tootle? What are you asking? He's working on it. Jesus Christ. Oh my gosh. Boyo has to like train a whole AI on seeing things as a dog walks with the kinds of offsets and bouncing you'd expect with a dog walking. And everyone is like, why isn't it done yesterday? Why wasn't it done for my birthday? My birthday came and went. How come he didn't have it done in time for my birthday? Calm down, Jesus Christ! someone comes in and they're just like, where is dog? Where is my dog? So anyway, the very nice women who work downstairs will be like, oh, we should go get Ellie and we should make sure she's part of things. I hate it so much. I hate it every time. I hate it every single time. Okay, I've talked about this before. I don't really think that introversion and extroversion are real things. I don't. I just don't. The whole idea of like, do you get energy from internal or external sources? That's nothing. That's nothing words for people who don't care if something means nothing. I get energy from different people in different situations, different amounts, right? Like I get a lot of energy from hanging out with like Joe and John, right? I find that really peaceful. Other people too, Wolf, other really close friends. If I'm just hanging out with them one-on-one, I am getting energy from that interaction. Even one on several, right? If we're sitting in one of our homes and we're just like joking and laughing and talking about stuff, I find that really, really nice. And if I sit alone for too many days, I am going to feel undercharged, right? If I don't talk to anyone for days, I am gonna feel absolutely no, but also again, I don't really think it is a spectrum at all, right? Because there's the whole idea of like, oh, I guess you're just an ambivert, and it's like, okay, but everyone's an ambivert. Everyone is, right? Like if I sit alone for too long, I get weird and sad and like empty. And if I interact with people too much, I get weird and sad and empty. And I don't think that is Minnie. Hey, oh my gosh, Minnie, I have to fix your model. I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know why the shaders were wrong. I am so sorry you had to stream with your old one. I am so sorry. I don't know what happened. But I just don't really think it's a thing. I just don't really think that introversion versus extroversion is a thing, right? I think that different people like different kinds of interactions more, and that everyone gets, it feels more at peace with people that they know better. You can go literally months without talking to anyone, and I have. And I'll say it made me weird. It made me worse. Yeah, I don't know. You always feel drained interacting with people no matter how much fun you had. I used to feel that way. I think you just haven't found the right people and the right situations, right? Again, this is like those people who are like, oh, masking hurts. And it's like, stop masking the way you're masking then, right? Like you're doing something wrong. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really think that's true. If anyone disagrees with any of the opinions I've expressed here today, particularly the ones about doctors and hot autistic girls on TikTok, please take them with a grain of salt. Remember that I am stupid. I pitched myself as such. Yes, introverted extrovert are scams. I don't know anything. I'm not a philosopher. I don't even have a graduate degree. I did 4 years of university, and that is it, man. Like, listen, if you disagree with me, you're probably right. Like, please, you're probably correct. I'm dumb like rocks, and I never claimed not to be. But yeah, I find introversion and extroversion, the way that people talk about it, really weird and scammy. And I think that if you are finding that no interaction is good for you at all, you are a very rare sort, or you are wrong and you're interacting in ways that hurt you, and you need to learn better interaction form. Like you're lifting with your freaking knees, man. And you're lifting with your freaking back, man, and you need to lift with your legs, right? You need to learn better socialization form for you. Yeah, people also confuse shyness with introversion, which again, I mean, shyness is a real thing and introversion isn't, so... Wait, oh my god, Ellie is the Vsauce of VTubers, a true philosopher is the most cursed sentence I've ever read. Every part of that makes me twitch. Every single part of that hurts me. I just hate that people feel the need to classify themselves this way. And it also speaks to a kind of alienation from people who go out and party. Like, if you meet people, if you actually talk to people and care about their, hey, Vsauce, it's Michael here. if you actually talk to people and care about their experiences, and you want to drink all those sweet, delicious boba directly out of their brain juice, which is the worst way to say you want to understand somebody, you would know. Yeah, I'm really sorry. You would know that that's not how extroverts feel either, right? I feel like people have this idea like, oh, I don't like clubs, and I watch people go out at clubs and they dance at clubs. And so I think that they have an infinite social battery and that this makes them feel energized, and that they could do this forever, and that they like this in a way that I don't. And it's like, listen, I know a lot of girls who go out and dance at clubs, right? They don't experience the world the way that introverts on the internet imagine they do. They're very tired. They couldn't do this for very long. And it's also a familiar environment to them, right? You are unfamiliar with this environment, and so you have all of these ideas about like, oh, it must feel like this to them. But it doesn't feel like that. You know, they have familiar clubs and unfamiliar clubs. They're nervous at unfamiliar clubs. They like to get down and party at familiar clubs, right? It's all quite alien to me because when I dance, I trigger people's uncanny valley feelings. I move in a way that is very precise and very upsetting to look at. And when I try and dance, it looks like if you tried to program a robot to dance. You know, that was actually one of the reasons why, as a kid, I got called a robot so much. So you should do robot dance, dude. Ellie danced like a hippie. Not really. I feel like hippies dance in a very, like, loose, vibes-based way that I cannot even remotely mimic. We need to see me dance in VR now? Sure. You can. I will. But yeah, no, I look really weird when I dance. This is something that happens, because my neck is so long. My neck is also freakishly long in real life. I explain to people, because I'm really upfront about all this stuff, right? So people will tell me like, oh, Ellie, it's not about how you look. We just want to have fun together. Everybody just wants to dance together. Minnie is a really good dancer. Minnie is a really talented dancer. And people will be like, oh, come on, like, we're just having fun at a party. It doesn't matter. And then I dance and people are like, oh, interesting, right? Like, it's not, I don't fully know how to explain it, but it's not what people expect. The mystic arts. Yeah, no, so like people are always like, don't even worry, Ellie, just drop it low. And listen, I can drop it, but I cannot drop it like it's hot. I can drop it like it is like biohazard materials, and like it must be handled with tremendous care, in a very surgical manner. I cannot drop it like it's hot. I can bring it down low, but you won't like it when it happens. Minnie, I will dance with you anytime, Minnie. You are one of the only people who has ever made me feel like a human being when I was dancing. But I really do understand that I make people feel the uncanny valley feelings when I dance. Midwest line dancing? I mean, look, I love a good line dance. I do. But I like being in the band. I like watching people do it. I don't like doing it. So, anyway, that's I'm very bad at dancing. One of the reasons I was called robotic as a kid, also because I feel like for me, my ability to talk like a regular person has just about kept pace my whole life with a computer's ability to do that, right? So when I was a kid, I feel like I was very like I see that you are experiencing a problem kind of way, right? And then as I got better at it, right, the computer was also getting better at it, and I was able to add some intonation. And by now, you almost can't tell that you're talking to a robot on the phone when they have the robot machine answer your call. And that's about where I'm at too. I feel like I almost pass as a person. But, you know, if you talk to me enough, you'll start to be like, you know, I'll start to be like, no recorded response, you know? If you start talking about something I haven't practiced, and then it's like, oof. You you can figure it out, but you gotta work pretty hard. I mean, I am, kind of. In a sense, right? I've always felt like an AI. When I was a kid, it was a positive and negative thing. And sometimes it still feels like a positive and negative thing. As recently as less than a year ago, someone told me that I was like ChatGPT and it wasn't worth being my friend anymore. So it still happens. And it still hurts. But a lot of people don't feel that way. And so here we are. Thank goodness. Yeah. But the point is, you're never entitled to someone else's feelings. The same way that you're never entitled to a date going well, you're never entitled to a friendship going well. And if someone doesn't like you as they get to know you more, then, good thing you got to know each other more, right? Thank God you're not forced to be friends with each other, despite that, because that would hurt quite a bit, right? So for me, while I've always been made people feel a little bit like they were talking to an AI, some people really like that. Data was a beloved character, as my dad used to tell me frequently when I was a kid. Right? When I was a kid, I got bullied a lot for being like a robot, and people would say that. And my dad would tell me, like, there are a lot of AI characters who people love a lot. And I found that very comforting, right? Because as much as, sure, I could learn to be less like a robot, I could learn to come off more like a real girl, knowing that people would love me even if I didn't, I found very comforting. Yeah, my dad related to Spock a lot as a kid. I've said this before, but like, what genre of autistic you are, really, I think you can just like relate it back to one character in Trek. And like which Trek character you relate to via autism. Fascinatingly, I feel like the character who is autistic most in the way that I am autistic, the character who I relate to the most in anything, in Trek, is not a robot. More so even than I relate to Data. And I do relate to Data. I think everyone does though, and that's part of why he's so beloved. I really, 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 really relate to Odo. I 100% feel Odo. And before anyone is like, oh, haha, because you both did war crimes. Listen, man, I got out of the military-industrial complex. You can hate on me as long as you want. I respect it. I understand it. But a lot of people don't get out. The money is very good. And I would never judge anyone who didn't get out. But I sure as frick did. I did not get kicked out. I left because it was hurting me too much. And I couldn't exist. So anyway, if you're going to be a robotics engineer, you need to understand that you are going to probably work in medical robotics or military robotics. And if you work for something else, you probably work for a startup that is going to get purchased and used for military robotics. So just be aware of that, because even if you didn't sign up to work in military robotics, you probably will at some point. And there are areas of military robotics that feel more and less difficult to wrap your head around, in terms of like what your impact on the world is. And sometimes you're doing something that's extremely literal. Sometimes you're doing something that you can't justify, right? A lot of people, they work in something kind of theoretical and they'll be like, oh, well, it's mostly for defense, right? And you're like, okay, sure, Jen. But like sometimes you work in something where there's no way to pretend that it's for defense. And then, it's kind of just a question of who you are and what you're capable of personally. And for me, I was not capable of that. Not personally. So, anyway, like Odo, I carry that with me. I carry that pain with me. And also like Odo, I am obsessed with being a good guy and doing the right thing. No way! Rula! Girl, I was watching your stream earlier. You were collabing. I didn't know who you were collabing with. I don't know who that was. But for those who don't know Rula, very talented artist, we good friend, hang out frequent. For me, I don't know. I don't hang out with anybody that frequent. But oh, that was yesterday? LOL. Dude, the days are blending together because I was at a wedding all day yesterday and then I like just got home and so I didn't sleep in my bed in the middle and so it feels like it was just one long day instead of 2 consecutive days. You know what I mean? But yeah, we're mostly talking about autism, I guess. I was supposed to be designing my VTuber headgear, but I didn't take my meds this morning. I can tell you about the VTuber headgear though if you're curious. We gotta do something for the silly thing we're doing. We do gotta do something for the silly thing we're doing. We gotta do something for the silly thing we're doing. Meds for autism? No, meds for ADHD. Jesus Christ. No. So the deal with the headgear is, yeah, ADHD meds. Because I wasn't home in time and I take time release ones. And so I never take them after 10 a.m. just because like then I'm going to be on them until 10 p.m. And like I need a little bit after my meds wear off to be able to like calm down. So they've tried that one. Yeah, they've tried to medicate autism. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. Yeah, mostly they just will sedate you. They didn't do that to me because, again, I've got rich boy math autism, thank God. You know, it's no hot girl TikTok autism, but we'll take it. But yeah, they straight up sedate people. It's dark. It's dark in there. Wow, Ellie, great raid chatter. Really fun raid chatter. Really exciting stuff. Bring people in. Keep the energy up. I'm artistic, not especially. I make 3D models, but what is hot girl TikTok autism? Dude, oh my god. Every girl on TikTok who's like, I got diagnosed this year with autism, and it made a lot of things make sense. Like, why I never understood when all of those boys were hitting on me. Or why I always had really close friends who would be like, girl, you're my best friend. But I didn't feel like I was their best friend. You know? Anyway, right? You can picture, you see the vision. So much hot girl TikTok autism. So much. And listen. I want to clarify again because there are new people here. I am being condescending about these women, but their experience is very valid. I am condescending about these women, not because their experience isn't valid, but because I'm fundamentally jealous of them. And I'm being bitter. This is sour grapes. This should not inform how you see these women. They had a hard experience and they deserve your empathy. I'm just jealous of them. Please don't try to be like them. Because you like that I'm not like other girls. Ellie, don't change. We don't want you to be like other girls. Actually, Ellie, we like that you're not hot. We like how not hot you are. Oh, Ellie, I don't think I'd follow you anymore if you got too hot. What a cringe response to that. The way that people get... I'm so freaking cringe. Sorry. I'm dunking on everybody today. Nobody's safe. Why am I being like this? I'm being such a wiener man. Ellie Redditor cosplay. Dude, you don't understand. Reddit raised me and that's why I'm like this forever. That's why I'm so freaking dumb all the time. That's why I'm awful to be around. I do blame... Listen, obviously I come off as autistic because I'm autistic, but I think even more than that, I come off as autistic because I spent so much of my childhood on Reddit. That site is causing autism. Like, listen, it's not the dyes in the food, it's certainly not the vaccines, it's freaking Reddit, dude. Reddit is making people autistic. Oh my god. Am I gonna get canceled? I probably should. We're not even 2 hours into the stream. We're not even an hour and a half into the stream. Yeah, you've never been on Reddit? Probably like family contamination. Was someone in your household on Reddit? Sometimes you can get secondhand Redditor and it can still make you autistic. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. Wait, is Southpaw turned off? I didn't know. Secondhand Reddit is crazy. Frick me, man. Dude, I have a really hard time explaining what I do, but I think it really is like improv comedy ventriloquism. Collaborative improv comedy ventriloquism, which is like the most shameful way to describe what I do. You're the only nerd in your family? Dude, I don't believe that. I don't believe it. I don't believe that's possible. And I know that this is like dumb. I swear, parents who tell their kid like, oh, I was really cool in school. You're actually just weird. I don't think they were. I think they're lying. I think that if you talk to some of their peers, they'd be like, oh, yeah, I mean, no, your mom was really pretty, but she was weird. She was like super freaking weird. Everybody thought she was weird. She would like chew on her hair in class. It was weird. Like I do believe that no, it's 100% hereditary, and like I know that that's a problematic worldview, and that I will get canceled for it. But I do think that like no, man, she's making it up. She's making it up, and this is why I believe that, because my sister is insanely gorgeous. My sister is like stunningly beautiful. Like she went to Disney, and so many people were like, "Oh my God, are you Rapunzel?" She wasn't even dressed like Rapunzel. She just looks so beautiful and has such long, gorgeous blonde hair. Like, she is so beautiful, right? And she plays normal really well, right? Like, she's built a mask that could, like, take many rounds point blank range and not show a sign of damage. Like, she has built a mask that is weapons grade. And, She acts now like she's a normal person, like she was normal, but I was there. So like she has two very weird little children. One of them definitely autistic. The other one maybe just kind of run-of-the-mill weird. The one with kids. And like the autistic one, right? Like he does autistic things. He's really into like chess and aquatic arthropods. And I love him. He's perfect. I would die for him. I would do anything for him. He's my nephew and I love him. But my sister all the time is like, oh, stop being weird. That's not expected behavior. You have to be normal. We're at a restaurant. You have to be normal. And like, I remember my sister loudly singing show tunes in the restaurant. Like, bro, sit the frick down. Right? So he's gonna grow up thinking like, oh, my mom is so normal. How did I wind up like this? And it's like, dude, no, she's not. No, she's not. You're so much more socially acceptable than your mom was. So anyway, yeah, I have this belief. I have this belief in my soul that every time someone is like, yeah, my parents were really normal and I've just been really weird my whole life. No, your parents were weird too. They're gaslighting you. Call their friend from high school. Find your parents' friends from high school. If they don't have any friends from high school, then that's just proof that they're weird, right? You've got a absolutely like caught red-handed proof that they're weird. If they do have friends from high school, ask them if your parents were weird in high school. I bet you they were. I bet you $100 they were. Everyone's catching strays today. I know. I know. I'm really sorry. I don't know why I chose violence today. Dude, some days you wake up and you're just like, God built me to wield a big hammer and by God, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, call your aunts and find out for sure. So, the VTuber headgear, huh? I should probably go through that a little bit. I should probably go through that a little bit. VTuber headgear, right? So, I don't know, it's pretty simple. Basically, Tell us about the sensors. Sure. So we're going to have a temperature sensor. Now, here's the thing about temperature sensors. We're going to be using a digital thermistor. Now, this is what's used in your under-the-tongue thermometer, right? And that's pretty cool because those things are fairly accurate. They tell you if you got a fever, right? But actually, they don't tell you anything. The rate of change on them tells you something. An algorithm that examines the rate at which they are changing as they are brought into a warmer environment tells them... Isn't it mercury? No. Bro, you thought I was gonna come to the door in like an old-timey night dress with like a nightcap holding a candle and be like, time to measure the temperature of my skin with this mercury thermometer. No, dude, we're using a digital thermistor. Jesus Christ. So, the thermometer is examining the rate at which the thermistor's reading is changing, right? So those sensors are fairly unreliable, and not especially precise, but you can, using the right libraries, get pretty precise readings out of them. Now, this works best under your tongue, in your armpit, or, in your butt. If you're a baby, that's where they take baby temperature. But I am going to be doing it on my forehead. So, I don't actually know how well that's gonna work. Yes, time for my asbestos sponge bath. Please, more lead for my skin. I am looking flushed. That I'm honestly curious how good of a reading I will get, from, no forehead, only backhead. Ew. On my forehead or on my five head? I don't actually know what the forehead on this model looks like, but we could start hiding hair layers and see. We could start undoing Dorasia's beautiful work. Just start hiding the hair layers one by one until my forehead is exposed to the elements. But yeah, I think that if I cover it well, and it sits there consistently, I should be able to get a decent enough reading, especially since I don't actually really care about the temperature itself. I care about how the temperature is changing over time, right? I care about like a running average. So, I am actually somewhat optimistic that a thermistor will work well here for this application. Yeah, so it's ideal. And so that's what I'll be doing. We can do some of that algorithmic stuff together, but I imagine a lot of it's going to be off the shelf. Clean your vents, the hair's in the way. Yeah, my hair vents are crucial to my survival. Anime girls would overheat without them. Do I have one of those smartwatches that just reads a ton of things? Oh god, you're gonna make me rant again. Dude, we just did this. Please don't make me rant again. Smartwatches are useless and bad. They don't actually tell you anything. They're nocebos that make people think that they're not sleeping enough when they're sleeping just fine. They are not medical grade for a reason. None of those sensors yield reliable data. So much of that algorithm is based on the assumption that you can do pulse oximetry loosely against the wrist, which you super can't, especially if you're not white. Oh, it sucks so bad, dude. It sucks so bad. They don't do anything. They can maybe take your pulse. They can maybe take your pulse. They can maybe read your temperature sometimes. They don't know if you're asleep. And if you don't believe me, wear one on each wrist and see what they say about your sleep in the morning. Furthermore, when you compare like all of your other health readings, they will also be different between your two wrists. Additionally, people get the sense, they look at it in the morning and they're like, oh, I only slept like 6 hours. Yeah, dude, that's because it's randomly deciding when you wake up and go to sleep, and it's counting things like getting up and going to the bathroom in the middle of the night as not sleeping. When people say the right amount of time to sleep, oh, counting steps, not even close, dude. Try playing a guitar and then see how many steps it thinks you took during that time. It thinks you were on a run, dude. If you're bouncing your wrist, right? It's just a freaking Excel in there. It doesn't know nothing. It does not know nothing. Hi, Mysterious. So anyway, yeah, it's a piece of garbage technology that makes you think that you are sleeping less than you actually are and that you're not sleeping enough. But yeah, when people say you need like 7 to 9 hours of sleep, what they mean is that you need to be like in going to bed in that time, right? They don't mean that you need to be in REM sleep that whole time. And so people see the whole like, oh, I guess I didn't sleep that much, and they get sad, they get upset. Anyway, yeah, it doesn't know anything. Yeah, walking with a stroller is no steps. Incredible. Anyway, yeah, I've worked in sensor processing, and I've worked with many of these individual sensors, and I can tell you, they are getting no useful data out of it. They are getting no useful data out of it. They're just a scam. Don't get a fitness watch. Please don't. If you are curious about your own health metrics, which first of all, I don't think you need to be. Like, I'm just gonna be a wiener, and I'm gonna say, like, if you have, you know, diabetes, Bo, please track your metrics. Please keep track of your blood sugar, because that's an important thing that you need to be thinking about. If you are feeling unwell, you know, go to a doctor. Maybe there is a metric that you need to be tracking. Maybe there is something that could make you feel better. But for the most part, right, run because it feels good, not because it's going to lower your resting heart rate. Every metric, when it becomes a goal, becomes less useful as a metric. That's a quote from someone, but I don't remember who, but it was on a poster and I liked it. Stop pursuing those metrics, right? Subjectively try and make yourself feel good and healthy. If you eat something and it makes you feel like garbage, maybe don't eat that again, right? Like, we're working on caveman rules here, people. Like don't eat stuff that makes you feel gross. And maybe if you eat something and you're like, wow, I feel pretty good, maybe eat that again tomorrow. I don't know, man. I'm not an expert. I eat beans every day. But here's what I'll say is, like, stop worrying about this. Stop worrying about this. You don't need to be measuring your resting SpO2. You don't need to know the oxygenation of your blood on a daily basis. You just don't need to know that. Magic mushrooms? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. If they help you, freaking, I don't know, man. I'm not a doctor. What I know is that, like, you do not need to be tracking your metrics on this kind of basis. You don't need to track your weight, dude. I'll say that and I'll stand by it. And people are going to be like, oh, Ellie, but it's such an important marker of health. And it's like, we don't actually know that. We don't. We just don't. If you look into eat beans every day, yeah, I literally eat beans every day. I eat beans every day because I'm autistic and I don't want to leave my house and buy food. And also, I like when things are the same. Yeah, I don't know. Listen. People's obsession with weight and health. I've been underweight my entire life. I've never not been underweight. Now, this is fine. My whole family is. People are built different. Obviously, people are built different. Y'all have seen the size of my hands and bones? I got tiny little bones. I got freaky little bird bones. I got freaky little doll hands, man. I am not gonna be, right, my healthiest at the same weight someone else is at their healthiest, right? A poodle and a bulldog of the same height should weigh different amounts. Bird bones, bird brain. So real. Yeah. If a medical professional identifies it as a necessary metric for you to track, then use medical equipment to track it. Don't use a cruddy little bundle of sensors like that is not medical grade, that would never get approved for medical use for a really good reason. Anyway, BMI works generally for people. I don't think it does, but whatever. So the thing is, people have never been concerned about me being underweight for several reasons. One, I wear it well. I don't think I look underweight. I don't think anyone would ever look at me and be like, oh no, she's ill, right? I look pretty healthy. Because I am really healthy, right? I've been too skinny. I've been at weights that were clearly too skinny for me at several times in my life because I have a hard time with unfamiliar foods, and I was very, very anxious when I first went to school. But I know what that feels like, and I know what that looks like. I've also been at been at very healthy weights that were also underweight. So I don't know, man. I'm bean maxing. I am. So what I'll say is like, I have never been in the healthy category for BMI, and yet I have seen and felt what it is like in my body when I am unhealthy and when I am healthy. And I think you can just kind of feel the difference, right? And furthermore, being in the underweight category is more correlated with bad health outcomes than being in the overweight or obese 1 categories. And yet, no one's ever been worried. Even when I was a little bit dangerously underweight, even when I was solidly too skinny, no one gave a bit of care. No one cared. And like that, I think that's a good thing. I actually think no one should have cared because it was something that was going to work itself out on its own. I wasn't pursuing that. It was just something that happened as a result of my surroundings and situation. And as I got more used to college and as I made more friends, I found more places and foods I liked, and I got back up to a healthy weight. Well, not by the BMI, not technically by BMI. Yeah, more beans. I mean, yeah, actually, kind of. If people actually cared about health, you are Eiko. Listen, the more you eat, the skinnier you get. This might be okay, but it also might indicate any number of health problems. Please go see a doctor. If you're losing weight, but you're feeling hungrier all the time, it can indicate any number of problems, including potentially cancer. So please take care of yourself. Is it easier to gain weight safely than to lose weight safely? Well, we don't really have a safe way of doing either. Some people seem to be pretty successful at modifying their weight, and other people don't. And this is true in either direction for any number of reasons. It can also be a sign of diabetes. Yes. There are a lot of things that could indicate. So please go see a doctor. That could be really, really difficult and bad. And it would be good to catch it early. So people are so concerned. They see someone who's even slightly in the overweight category, and they're like, oh, for your health, you have to change that. But even going to doctors, no one ever cared that I've literally been underweight my whole life. And, well, go see a doctor because they're gatekeepers to treatment, right? You might be able to diagnose yourself. A nurse almost certainly would be able to diagnose you, but nothing is going to come from that diagnosis unless you go get it from a doctor, right? Just because they are the gatekeepers of that, just because they hold that power doesn't mean I think they should. But my point is just that, like, people pretend that it's about health, but it's obviously not. It's just not. People don't like it because they think it's aesthetically not pleasing. And that's why they act like that about it. Hard disagree, listen to experts? Yeah, I just think that nurses are better experts than doctors. I think you should listen to nurses. 100% listen to medical professionals, just not doctors. Yeah, it's just a way of talking about body standards and pretending that's not what you're doing. And I think, honestly, it's just kind of wiener behavior. Like, the way that people will be like, oh, God, I'm just concerned about her health. And it's like, okay, but you're not concerned about a girl who's underweight, are you? And that is associated with worse health outcomes. Like, it just is. So, I don't know, get your act together. Stop being a wiener. I think, broadly, you just, like, you shouldn't really care. Like, you just shouldn't really care. People do things that are more or less healthy all the time. And that is really not your job to police. It's just not. And listen, I support people modifying their bodies to make them more comfortable to themselves. If you tell me, Ellie, I'm getting a tattoo, I'm like, yeah, go for it. If you tell me, Ellie, I'm getting one of those little magnets implanted in the tip of my finger so that I can feel electrical fields, I'll be like, oh, cool. Most people get those removed because they hate them. But yeah, go for it, you know? I support you in modifying your body. So if you tell me, Ellie, I've decided I'm going to lose weight, then my answer will be, do this under supervision. Get insight from people. There is actually not a lot of good data on how to do it. Even the most supported methods for doing this have pretty low success rates. So good luck, but please don't hate yourself if you fail, because most people do, and we don't really understand why. So anyway, any form of body modification that you choose to pursue for yourself, I'm going to ask that you do it safely, under supervision, and, caloric deficit. Sure, Pat Rock. Here's the thing about calories in, calories out. It rests on the assumption that your body is not as smart about like power management as your phone is. It rests on the assumption that your phone is better engineered to manage power than your body is. The idea that your body wouldn't adapt, that these systems wouldn't be capable of going haywire is insane. Is actually insane. And really dumb. Calories in, some calories out. Listen, here's the thing about calories in, calories out. I think that there is no way it can't lead to an eating disorder. I think once you get to the point where you're like thinking about what you're eating in that way, everything you're eating, you're counting it, that's not healthy. There's no good way for that to go. It is extremely harmful. And furthermore, I know what it feels like when you are kind of starving a little bit. And I can tell when other people are feeling that. I see when people are dieting, even if they're dieting and they're like, oh, but I'm doing it in a healthy way. I'm doing calories in, calories out, right? I see the way that their eyes are glazed over, the way that their shoulders kind of hunched down. I see the way that they're not bouncing their leg in a way that they otherwise would, the way that they walk. I can tell that they are tired in the way that your body makes you tired when your body is like, I want more food than you're eating. And I don't know why their body wants more food. No one does. We just don't know that yet. We know some of the signaling chemicals involved, but we don't understand any of those mechanisms, really. And so I see that, and I'm like, that looks awful. Gut flora might be involved. We have reason to believe that it probably is, right? Changing your microbiome seems to affect weight and energy levels. But at the same time, I don't know, right? We don't. We just don't know. Stomach dimensions, that's an old theory. It doesn't seem to really be borne out. The more we research it, what do I think about the keto diet? I think it's crazy. I think anything that restrictive is actually insane. I don't think that's what you should do, right? Again, if you tell me, like, Ellie, I have found a way of eating that makes me feel so good, and I literally just eat butter, I am a little bit skeptical. But if you tell me that you're feeling amazing and you've been doing this for a while and you're still feeling amazing and your doctor says you're okay and, you don't have anything weird going on, listen, I'm surprised, but like, I don't know how that stuff works. Carnivore is way better. All of these people with their magical spells, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. None of them work. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Doctors, like I said before, are gatekeepers for your medical data, right? You get a blood test from a doctor. That's where you find out the information about your blood. So, if you want it, you have to go through a doctor. But none of it is going to help you. None of it is going to help you. And I'm sorry. There have been so many weird, dumb diet ideas through the course of history, and we go in cycles through them. And once you actually study the history of this at all, you'll see that we've been through a billion cycles already. That every one of these little fad ideas has had its time before. Eat no meat, eat only meat, eat no fat, eat only fat, right? high protein, high carb, right? All of these things, we've tried them. You will feel initially pretty good because of the placebo effect and because you're probably surrounding yourself with a community that is telling you that this is going to feel good, and that if you're feeling bad at first, right? And all of these diets have this thing where it's like, oh, well, if you're feeling bad at first, it's actually because your body is purging out all the toxins, right? Like, you might feel bad for the first few days on the carnivore diet, but actually after that, you're going to feel better. And all of these things are so restrictive and hard to maintain on any kind of actual, like, basis that when you mess up, they tell you, like, oh, well, if you're still feeling bad, it's probably from that time a month ago when you messed up. And it's like, nah, dude. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Yeah. Yeah, you are what you eat, so just eat a healthy person. That's what I keep telling people. Yeah, you have kidneys and a liver. You're gonna be fine. Toxin wise, if anyone tells you that like the thing you're doing that they're telling you to do is actually going to make you feel better, it's just going to make you feel bad at first because of toxins, that person is lying to you. Or just confused, you know? So yeah, don't buy into any of these. They're all stupid, right? Don't go vegan for health reasons. Don't only eat meat for health reasons. Don't do either of those things for health reasons. There is simply not really data to support doing any of those crazy, stupid things. And you'll feel gross, because it is gross, because you go vegan for toxic reasons. Well, there are a lot of good reasons to go vegan, I think, right? If you believe that it is morally only right, morally only correct for you to not eat meat, then I support you in not eating meat or any meat products. This isn't why I don't eat meat, and I do eat meat products, right? I eat milk and cheese and eggs. And I don't eat meat just because that's how I was raised. But, and when you grow up not eating something, it looks gross and it doesn't smell like food. So, also I'm a picky little autistic kid. I don't want to eat something I've never eaten before. But yeah, no, yeah, and if you go vegan because you hate plants and you want to see them suffer, good for you as well. If you, so many issues come with veganism socioeconomically. True, there are a lot of health fad foods that put a lot of pressure on countries where those foods were staple subsistence crops, and now they have to become export crops. A lot of damage is done to ecosystems this way, but also more water goes into growing the feed and then feeding that feed to cows than if you just ate the food that was grown initially, right? So the answer is that a carnivore diet and a vegan diet can both be presented as putting unnecessary pressure on ecosystems, because they both do, because anything you eat is putting pressure on ecosystems. Just eat the water. Perfect. Brilliant. Plants make your skin break out? Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but, maybe, I guess, I don't know, I don't know. But here's what I'm going to say. I hear people complain about vegans much more than I hear vegans complain about anything. Like, people who are annoying about vegans are so much more annoying than vegans are. Like, that's my take at the end of the day, is like, I have never had a vegan proselytize at me. I've never had a vegan tell me I should be vegan, but I have had so many, every time vegans come up in chat, someone has to be like, I hate them. They hate me. They're always yelling at me. And it's like, sir, are these vegans in the room with us right now? Sit down. The only time I ever encounter vegans and they say anything about it at all, they're just like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm vegan. I promise I'm not judging you. Like, they're so scared of being perceived as though they're judging you. I don't know, man. Leave the vegans alone. They didn't do anything to you. And in the same way, some of them need to tell everybody I'm vegan. I've literally never met this person. I've never met this person. Yeah, I hate you, Sukpachok? Oh my god. Sukpachok. Yeah, I hate you too. Hey, May, can you ban that guy? I hate that guy. Anyway, the loud but vocal minority, I don't even think they're very vocal. Like, I've literally never met this person. I actually think that there is, kind of a weird signaling thing that happens, where, it's because we're jealous that vegans objectively hold the moral high ground. I don't even know if it's that. I actually think it's something a little bit more complicated and kind of sad and beautiful. You're a chef, you have your reasons? Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Have I heard Minnie's cover released 1 hour ago? I was live 1 hour ago. I really want to hear Minnie's cover, but I was live. I can't. If Minnie tells me I have permission, I will happily play it on stream, but I don't want to do that without her permission because I don't even know what it is. But what I think it actually is that, okay, personally, there are problems, obviously, with the dairy industry, right? The dairy industry is a big polluter, right? A lot of the animals are not kept in very good conditions. And so for me, right, as someone who is not vegan, right, and consumes a lot of cheese, I have to think about whether this is a system I want to participate in. And that is a hard conversation to have with myself. And it makes my consumption of dairy more complicated, right? It makes me have to sit with what I am capable of doing to the world. And that's hard, right? Complicated and sad. But it's also something that I have to do if I want to be an adult in the world, right? And I came back with the answer, I'm still going to eat cheese. It's part of my culture. It makes me really, really happy. These systems are huge, and I'm going to fight for fairness in other ways. But yeah, I am an all-American cheese eater. I will eat an egg. I love to eat an egg. Are those chickens kept in okay conditions? Absolutely freaking not, but I will eat an egg, you know? And so that's something that you have to sit with and think about, and it makes that relationship more complicated forever, but, you know, you're an adult, so you have to be willing to do it, to know what your impact is and think about it. At the same time, people are afraid to do that because they're little crybabies. They're little wiener babies, and they're like, oh, it hurts me to think about it. And that's baby behavior. That's little child baby behavior. But the thing is, they see someone else who's thought about it, right? Every time they meet a vegan, and the vegan is politely like, oh, sorry, I brought something for myself, but you can have some if you want, but I brought something for myself because I can't eat that today. The vegan didn't do anything to them. That's a very nice person. But the vegan is a reminder that they're gonna have to think about this thing. The vegan is a reminder to think about the thing that they are working very hard not to think about because they don't want to think about the thing because it's hard and they're a little baby. And so I think most of the people who cry about like, oh, vegans are so whatever in me, oh no. I think that they're just scared to have that conversation. They don't want to have that conversation in their own head. And they don't even have to have that conversation with the vegan, right? They have to have that conversation with themselves. And they don't have to. They can spend their whole life avoiding it. But they will always feel uncomfortable, upset. Oh no, oopsies. Every time someone brings it up because it reminds them of the thing they're trying not to think about. Right? Show me on this doll where the vegan hurt you. So yeah. No. And I have had this. I've had to deal with this my whole life because I was raised vegetarian, not particularly for any reason, mostly out of tradition. And so since I was a kid, right, we just didn't eat that. A lot of things different people don't eat. And when you grow up not eating something just kind of seems gross about it. So my whole life, I've never had any stance on whether or not you should eat animals. I think that there are really beautiful ways to coexist with nature and to be part of the food chain. By eating animals. I think Mary Oliver has a really beautiful essay on it. And I think that if you think deeply about it and you come back and you tell me, Ellie, I'm supposed to be eating this. This is what makes me happy. This is what connects me to nature and my history and my family. And I am happy to be serving bacon for breakfast. I am happy to be eating bacon for breakfast. I 100% trust you. And I think it would be awful for anyone not to. But if you are unwilling to have that conversation with yourself, if you are unwilling to think about it, then yeah, everyone who doesn't eat meat is going to make you feel uneasy. Every time. Yeah, like the number of people in my chat who feel the need to be like, oh, bacon, I like bacon. It's like, no one's taking away your bacon, dude. No one cares. No one cares what you eat. Am I spiritual? It's complicated. Not really. How do I explain it? I think religion is really beautiful. I think it gets the short end of the stick too often, especially on the internet. I think it can be quite rational. Have I tried keto before? Not on purpose, not under the name keto, but I have put myself into the state of ketosis for long periods of time because I was very limited in what I was comfortable eating. And so I know what that feels like, and I know what it does to your body. Yeah, well, here's what I'll say. People talk about spirituality versus religion. Spirituality is just individualistic religion, and religion is just collectivist spirituality. And I think both have their place, right? I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with collectivism, and I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with individualism. And so people talk about religion, and usually they're just talking about their religion. They're just projecting their religion on every other religion. They're like, what I don't like about it is the hierarchy. And it's like, well, a lot of religions don't have that. So, and the whole like organized religion versus personal religion, right? You've never been to a Quaker meeting if you have that opinion. You don't know what Quakers are up to, man. There is this thing that happens where people will be like, they want to talk about Christianity, right? They want to talk about their sect of Christianity, and instead they just say religion. And they mean maybe one other religion, right? Sugar withdrawal is quite painful. Honestly, baby talk. Dumb. I don't know. Maybe it is for other people, but the science around like, oh, sugar is addictive. It's actually very stupid and doesn't make sense. Food is not addictive, and yes, animals will pursue it biologically, because they're hungry for food, which they need to survive. Sugar is delicious, and I think that you should enjoy it. But the whole thing about sugar withdrawal, I'm addicted to sugar, nothing bears it out. It's a bunch of weird cult stuff for people on Facebook trying to lose weight in mommy groups, and it makes me sad, because you should have sugar if you want it. If you are actually able to eat enough sugar that it is harming you, I don't know. That seems bad. Organized religion are too often used to justify hate and dehumanization. So is everything. I don't know, man. I mean, often the way that people talk about religion is dehumanizing. I just, personally, like with food, I think that you should keep doing what makes you feel good. So for me, I think that I've seen religion make a lot of people feel really good. And I think that's beautiful. Personally, I was never able to sit through it because I found it really freaking boring. And I found it freaking like borderline trauma to have to sit through it and just like, oh my God, holding my body still all that time. Oh God, so freaking boring. I couldn't stand it. Oh my God. And then they just talk forever. And okay, when a priest gets laughs and they think it's because they're funny, and it's like, bro, you have a captive audience. You didn't get those laughs. Jesus got those laughs. Don't let it go to your head. I hate when a priest thinks they're funny. Oh my God. Oh my God. Anyway, sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm really coming for everybody today. And the church benches are uncomfortable. Ah! Even priests catching strays. I'm sorry, guys. I think what you do is really beautiful. You bring communities together. There aren't enough third spaces anymore, and this is a third space, and I think it's important that it's a third space. And I'll say it, man. The best shows I ever play, the best shows I've ever played are church shows. I love doing a church show. First of all, you're done, and it's not even late at night. Second of all, you get free crackers and cheese from the nice church ladies. And third of all, the crowd is so into it. They already know all the words. They sing along. I love to play a church show. So what I'll say about religion is that as a kid, I found it insanely boring, painfully boring, and I hated it. I despised it. And so when on Reddit, people were talking about how bad religion was, I was like, yes, they made me sit still, and that's the worst thing anyone's ever done to anyone. Church was always your zone out time. It's good for that. It's really good for that. Hey, Lemmy, also hi, Lemmy. But then as I got older and I was playing more church shows, I was like, this is really beautiful, and this is really bringing people together and doing nice things for them. And I like that. So now, I guess the way that, I was molded by it. That's the darkness, man. I saw deep into the darkness. But the way that I feel is like, if religion is good for you, then you should do it. That's that. And that's how I feel about sugar too, right? I've known people who are really active and healthy and feel really good when they eat a lot of sugar. And personally, I can't eat that much sugar. Ever since I was a kid, if I ate like a bunch of candy at once, I would get a headache, I would get a tummy ache, and I just wouldn't feel that good for the rest of the day. I'd feel kind of like tired. So yeah, I don't eat a lot of sugar. And honestly, I don't crave a lot of sugar, right? There are candies I like, but I just don't eat that much of it. But I wouldn't prescribe that to someone else, right? I think that's a pretty easy thing to discover about yourself. If you're someone for whom sugar makes you get a headache, you probably already know that. And if you're someone for whom sugar does not make you get a headache, you probably also already know that. So forced to consume sugar systematically. Oh, calm down. Calm down. Oh my gosh, all this forced to consume sugar systematically. Like, no one is making you eat nothing. I don't know, man. All this stuff about like, oh, they're hiding sugar in the food. They're hiding sugar in the food. I mean, cocaine will not make you feel good long term. Like, it just won't. That's how it works. That's how it works. So, no. Like, yeah, if it only ever made you feel good, sure, but it won't, because that's not how cocaine works. Anyway, I got you. The way that I feel about food, right? Like, I don't know, man. The food that I eat does not have added sugar in it. Not because I'm, like, tracking where added sugar is and isn't, but because I eat a lot of beans. I eat a lot of beans. Nah, dude, if you do a bunch of heroin, later you will feel worse than if you had not done that heroin. Like, and if you keep doing the heroin, you will eventually feel so bad that you are basically getting withdrawals constantly, and you are using it just to stave off those withdrawals. Heroin will make you feel worse than if you did not do heroin. And I'm here to tell you that. You're not gonna find a problem with this because there just isn't one. If something makes you feel good and healthy consistently, you know, I don't actually have a problem with that personally. So, anyway, they're putting sugar in the water. They're poisoning us with sugar. All of the sugar panic. Calm down. Calm down. If you want yogurt that doesn't have sugar in it, just buy the yogurt that doesn't have sugar in it. If you want salsa that doesn't have sugar in it, just buy the salsa that doesn't have sugar in it. Like, it literally says it on the front. Chill. Oh my gosh. The way that people are putting sugar in my cocaine. The way that people get about sugar is just so funny to me. Chill, man. Chill. If sugar is so bad, why does it taste so good? Sugar isn't so bad. Sugar is a nutrient. Some of you will be able to eat more of it and feel good, and some of you will be able to eat less of it and feel good. And so you should eat however much sugar makes you feel good. They're giving the freaking fish diabetes. Yeah, which again, diabetes is largely genetic. Nah, bro, it's poison. It's poison. Too much sugar will mess you up. That is true for most things. You are absolutely right, Teletric. That, you know, there's enough water that you could die, right? You could die overdosing on water. Thoughts on caffeine? Personally, I like it, which you can tell from how fast I'm talking. But I don't know. A lot of people don't like it. It makes my mom feel pretty sick, so I don't think she should have any. It makes me feel pretty good, and I don't really get a crash afterwards. But if I did, then I probably wouldn't have it. But we have more diabetes every year. Yes, there are several reasons for this. I suspect that there... If you want to look up the complex of reasons behind the general proliferation of metabolic disorders and why they are on the rise, there are a lot of experts thinking hard about this. And I promise they're not on Facebook groups telling everyone that sugar is cocaine and that everyone's addicted to sugar. That's not it. That's just not it. Sedentarism, there are arguments for and against it, but it, like, that study that originally, like, made everyone think that was funded by Coca-Cola, the company, and, I don't personally find it very compelling. It has not been replicated. But anyway, yeah, think about it. Think about this stuff. Yeah, it's extremely complex. It is extremely complex. You need to be willing to look at several different causes. It's not going to be one thing. You don't think sugar is as much the issue as high fructose corn syrup is? Again, it just doesn't really pan out. It just doesn't really pan out. Just doesn't really pan out. Working for Big Sugar, but I literally just said that a study funded by Big Sugar was dubious because it was funded by Big Sugar. Yeah, I don't know. I've never been a huge sugar person. But I have friends who eat a ton of sugar and are like, they run faster than I am and they have more energy than I do. And they feel great and they don't get tummy aches or headaches and they're quite healthy. And I have friends who eat less sugar than I do, who have less energy and more headaches. So I don't know what to tell you, man. What I think, personally, is that you should just do what makes you feel comfortable and healthy. For me, if you exercise, you can eat whatever you want. That's definitely not true. Like, first of all, the whole whatever you want thing is weird to me, right? Like I have this relationship that is so confusing with the way that people talk about food when they're like, oh, I can't wait to eat so much food that I'm in pain. And it's like, why do you want to be in pain? Right? People talk about like, oh, you have to hold me back from eating another cupcake. And it's like, do you want another cupcake? Like why do you want to eat something that's going to make you feel uncomfortable, right? So you can eat whatever you want already. You can eat whatever you want. Because you shouldn't want to eat anything that's gonna hurt you. Anyway. But it's not even self-control, right? I don't not want to be in pain because I have self-control. I don't want to be in pain because pain hurts. I don't like pain, personally. I find it painful. So... the whole thing where people are like, oh, if you do this, you can eat whatever you want. And it's like, you can already eat whatever you want. Please eat whatever you want right now. Eat whatever you want. But just like, why do you want to hurt? Don't want to hurt. Eat whatever you want, but don't want to hurt. You know? Anyway, with that out of the way, no, I run quite a lot. And if I eat a lot of sugar, I still get a headache from it. So, no. I doesn't make a difference if I run or not. Then I would just be running with a headache, which sounds unpleasant. So, anyway, do I dislike spicy foods? No, I love spicy foods, but that's a different kind of pain, you know? It's like, the same way that, like, if you run uphill for a while and you haven't run uphill for a long time, you know? It hurts, but in a good way, right? Time for microplastic sprinkles. It's always funny to me the way that when I tell people you should eat whatever feels good to you, they're like, I'm gonna eat poison. And it's like, this doesn't actually disprove my point at all. This doesn't actually have anything to do with my point, but it does show how messed up your relationship to food is. That like the most indulgent thing you can imagine is literal poison. Like, what's wrong with you? Who hurt you? Why are you like this? Yeah, eat-friendly stream. We're just yapping. I'm just yapping. I need help. I need to stop yapping. We started talking about the headgear, but then we just got back in it. Man. So yeah. If you want to do your own nutrition research, you certainly can. I got way too into it for a while because it was just kind of a center of human suffering that I was constantly exposed to, and I couldn't stop looking at it. Once you really understand the abuse cycle that takes place for people in diets, you can't stop seeing it everywhere. Because so many people are on diets, especially just normal people out in the world, like less so on the internet, but normal people. So many of them are on diets and they're miserable. And just kind of being exposed to that much misery all the time, it really shook me. Like my first time in a real job outside of school, right? In school, we're all kids, so most people aren't like on diets. So I wasn't really aware of it. My parents weren't really, and so it wasn't really something I thought about. But thank you, Nekojira. But when I had my first job, people were just in so much pain, and the way that they talked about it was so weird and sick. And so, what am I using the temperature measurement for? It's for sensing blush. Right now, I'm sensing blush visually. I have a camera, and I'm selecting out the parts of my face that blush, and I'm comparing them to the parts of my body that don't, and that's how I'm detecting blush. But this is a little bit resource-intensive on my PC, and just kind of a little annoying to have to run, because it means I have to have a webcam in addition to my phone, which makes it hard to stream. Yeah, so I'm gonna instead be doing it with temperature, just because that seems way better. Sounds overcomplicated? It certainly is, although it's the only way to do it visually. So if I didn't want to build a sensor package, and lighting necessary. Oh my god, yes, and lighting changes the behavior a lot. And a lot of other things, right? Like, I mean, the temperature in the room can really affect it. For any number of reasons. But yeah, ultimately, Sugar isn't an addiction as long as you don't treat it as an addiction. Yeah, like it's just absolutely insane. Yeah, body dysmorphia is really common, and people are just really obsessed with the idea that like the default human state is like really, really hot and healthy. And personally, I don't think that's true. When I was a kid, my grandpa told me this thing that like it used to be that with cars, every car you had, you just kind of had this running tally of everything that went wrong with it, right? You just kind of knew as you got to know your car, you'd be like, oh yeah, it leans a little bit this way. It makes this weird sound when I do this, right? And sometimes something would be wrong enough that you would have to like go and get it fixed. But for the most part, it was just kind of expected that the default state of a car is there's some stuff that you just got to know about how it works. And I think that's true with bodies, right? The default state of a human body, especially as you get older, is not to be perfectly hot like a model all the time. You're gonna look good at some angles and bad at some angles and good in some clothes and bad in some clothes. You're gonna have some weird features. And it's, you know, maybe this guy's knee clicks when he stands up, and maybe this girl gets nauseous when she goes on airplanes. And at the end of the day, I don't think there's a cure for that. I don't think there's supposed to be a cure for that. I think the idea that like, oh, if you cut out everything from your diet except beef, then you're gonna be only eating beef, man. And that sounds really gross. Like, that sounds really depressing. I don't know, eat a lot of beef if you like it. Heck, eat only beef if it makes you feel fantastic. But don't eat only beef because you believe that if you eat only beef, you're going to be like perfectly beautiful, perfectly engineered, and especially gorgeous. So anyway, yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? I eat a lot of beans. And if you're like that with beef, if you're like, I only eat beef because I freaking love it, man. Like, I mean, obviously, I don't only eat beans. If I only ate beans, I would have some major nutrient deficiencies. But I have no problem if you tell me, like, Ellie, I eat beef for dinner every day. That's like my go-to dinner. Plain beef. Sure, man. Have fun. Like, if that makes you feel good, absolutely. But I do think that, like, if you are eating it because you think that it's going to make you perfectly healthy, it's going to make you, your joints aren't going to hurt in the morning. It's like, well, I'm sorry, man, you're 40. Your joints are going to hurt a little bit in the morning. You're a human. Or like you think it's going to give you a perfect body. There is no universal definition of a perfect body. And like, no, your ancestors weren't roaming the wilderness just looking like hot like models, man. Like, there are plenty of hunter-gatherers today eating diverse diets that are very different from each other. And you can look at all of those people and you can see that they look like people. They look like people. You're not gonna look insanely hot. There's nothing you can eat that will make you look insanely hot if you don't already. People just look like people. So, oh yeah, no, Prominence. All of Prominence's ancestors looked really hot, like crazy hot, like oh my god, so hot. But your ancestors, everyone else, and my ancestors, they looked fine. They looked like people. Calm down. Yeah, listen, I'm never gonna judge anyone for same food. I think same food is amazing, and if it makes you feel good and not worried, about what you're going to eat that night, if it makes you feel comfortable, as it does for me. Every single day I get home from work and I'm like, oh, heck yeah, beans again, I'm never going to judge anyone for that. But if someone was like, I want to be like Ellie, so I'm going to start eating beans every night. That's crazy. Don't do that. Don't do that, man. That's not how any of this works. So whenever people have these like crazy body ideas, crazy ideas that like, I'm going to change my diet and it's going to change everything about my life. No, it isn't. It's not. And I think even more than that, it's so hard to watch because people are so hard on themselves, right? They give up on themselves before they give up on the premise of what they're doing, right? They don't think like, oh, I guess keto didn't work for me because, keto is kind of a crazy and extreme dietary change that doesn't work for most people, has not really been well supported by the science done on it. And the studies that have supported it have largely supported it because it's been like very high quality food that people have been served as part of their keto diet. And when people do it and they're like, oh, I'm not hot and my body still hurts, and now I have digestive issues from drastically changing my diet really fast, then they're going to blame themselves, right? They're not going to think like, oh, I guess keto doesn't work. They're going to think about themselves like, oh, I guess I'm bad. I guess I'm just ugly. I guess I don't have willpower. I guess I couldn't do it. Anyway, that's awful. That's awful. And I hated seeing people feel bad like that. It made me sad. You got appendicitis from doing keto for half a year. Yeah, literally, it can cause health issues that people are not made aware of before they try it, and expensive. And as for like going on jogs, it works well for some people, not well for others. I know some people where running just doesn't feel good to them. For me, running has always felt good. I think that if running doesn't feel good to you, you should find another way to exercise. But broadly, moving your body, if you're able, does seem to make you feel better. And personally, you know, just kind of on an individual basis, anecdotally, I run every day because I feel bad if I don't. Running is hell. Yeah, walking is great. Riding a bike is great. Right? There are a lot of things. What's the missing key points of the Ellie diet? Spaghetti with your hands. Listen, I like to feel my food, man. I like to feel my food in my hands. Why am I running? I don't know. Get away from the internet. Why am I running is a good question. I started running every day when I was a kid, when I was doing field hockey. The team would run every morning. And then a lot of you know this, but I'm deaf in one ear from a childhood ear infection that also caused chronic nausea. So I experience chronic nausea to this day, where very often I get vertigo that's barely perceptible, not a huge problem, but makes me quite stomach sick, quite motion sick. And when I started running for field hockey in school, I found that I wasn't as motion sick and I didn't get as much vertigo. And I brought that up with a doctor, and there is apparently a lot of good evidence to support that running, especially in the morning, seems to reduce symptoms of chronic nausea and vertigo. So that's why I run every day, because it keeps the nausea at bay. Some people are sick to Dramamine. Yeah, Dramamine doesn't work for me at all. I have a really bad time with Dramamine. It just like basically knocks me unconscious. It's like worse than Benadryl. I'm so hazy and woozy and out of it for the whole day. So yeah, chronic nausea is absolutely a thing. What about acupuncture? I've never tried it. I guess that if I didn't have something that was working well for me, I might. But running works really well for me. And also, I am someone who likes routine. Surprising no one, as like many autistic people do. I love routine. It makes me feel safe and comfortable, and it makes me feel just peaceful. And so running being part of my routine is really important to me. How many miles or kilometers do I run per day? It's not really relevant to me. I just kind of run until I'm done running. Usually I run for around a half hour to an hour. I don't keep track of a distance. Sometimes I run farther and sometimes I run faster, sometimes I run slower. I do have like routes that I'll stick to basically. So right now I have 3 different routes, and if I'm feeling like I get out there in the morning and I'm like, I'm not ready to go to work yet, then I'll run my longer route. And if I get out in the morning and I'm like, I'm kind of answering the question of how fast or intense do I run, and the answer is like not that intense, not that fast. What time do I run? Usually 6 a.m. But sometimes after, sometimes 6:30. On weekends, I can run as late as 10 often, but then I'll get back and it'll be too late for me to take my meds, so it better not be a day I have to get anything done, because otherwise I'll have to get things done without ADHD meds, and that is hard. So yeah. Do I run directly to work? No, because I don't want to show up to work sweaty. I run, and then I go back home, and then I shower, and then I go to work. What's the little guy on my shoulder? He's a code bug! Look at him! Look at him, isn't he perfect? But wait, we gotta find it. Where is it? There we go. Look at him go! Look at him! Oh! Look at his moves. Yes. Oh my god, he is hitting that. Look at him go. That's a code bug. That's you. That's you right now. Isn't he the sweetest? Codebug keycaps? Oh my god, right? Oh my god. I just want one. I just want a little plastic one. I love him so much. What do I feel without ADHD meds? Mostly I feel great. I feel great without ADHD meds. I make sure that I always have at least one day a week that I don't take them. But it's really hard to get things done unless they're things I already really, really want to do. So if I have something I need to get done that day, like deep cleaning something, or, you know, making sure that I go through and, you know, do some vocals that I'm not really excited about recording and that are going to take a lot of takes, I want to make sure that I have ADHD meds and that I've taken them. Because otherwise, it just doesn't work very well for me. Does coffee help with ADHD for me? To some extent. I know a lot of people self-medicate with caffeine. Personally, I like caffeine. I think it's nice, especially in the morning. But I'm not addicted to it. So I don't have caffeine every morning. I'll have it, I don't know, maybe once every 2 weeks. I'll decide that I want to wake up with a little caffeine, and then I'll feel like a little extra, like, pow! I can really get stuff done today. But yeah, for the most part with ADHD meds, they just make it easier to focus. Ah, yes, I love banjo. I love banjo so much. It's just the most beautiful sound, I think. It's so powerful and bell-like. It just rings. There's something so mournful and emotional about it. I love banjo. But yeah, caffeine is nice. But I don't have it every day. ADHD meds are unpleasant. I would not recommend them to anyone. I don't enjoy the sensation. They make everything a little bit sadder, and a little bit more empty feeling. And I have to be really careful to manage my emotional state, because my emotional state can be less positive when I'm on them. But they make it really easy to get work done. And as long as I do a good job of managing my emotional state, making sure that I don't get too hungry, making sure that I run, making sure that I shower, making sure that I keep up with friends, it doesn't really do me any harm. I don't feel sad on them. It's just that, like, if any of those things go wrong, it gets much harder to keep my spirits up. You wonder whether I can win Tech VTuber of the Year? Absolutely not, dude. It's not gonna happen. There's just no way. I mean, here's why. So, Tech VTuber of the Year, I would be proud to get nominated, but it's unlikely, because people can only vote for one Tech VTuber of the Year. And everyone who knows me also knows Vettel. And Vettel is incredible. Like, I don't think you guys even realize how much goes on behind the scenes. He is a real engineer, and he cares so deeply about what he does. And I know that he was running the campaign, and he was like, oh, like, I don't vote for me. I'm Vettel. That's my Vettel impression. I would still vote for him. I don't know anyone in the VTuber space who's doing more interesting things tech-wise. So I doubt that I would get enough votes to get nominated. I'm a real engineer. He's also a real engineer. Yeah, classic Vettel. Classic. Guys, this is my Vettel impression. You ready? I'm like, I'm Vettel. Nailed it. No, he's not. Copilot is the real engineer. Okay, listen. He might trust vibe coding a little bit more than I do, but I don't know. I don't think that makes him less of an engineer, truly. Like, he can write code. I've seen him do it. He doesn't want to, but he can do it. No, so personally, I have no idea if I could win, and I would be very surprised if I did even get nominated. With that said, I don't know, man. Girl can dream. I'm not getting nominated for anything else, man. It's my best odds. Yeah, he told everybody to vote for me last time, but you know, me or Uwu? Ah, dude, he's Uwu. Do you mean Uwo? Do you mean Uwo's lab? You don't mean Uwu, I assume. I assume you don't mean Uwu. I'm gonna tell Uwo that you called him that. Although he's so used to it. He gets it so much that I don't think he cares. But yeah, Uwo is also extremely talented and comes up with really funny ideas for projects. And I'm also really excited to be doing a cover of a song with him! But anyway, yeah, I said Uwu 3 times. That means I gotta go. It's like reverse Bloody Mary. Yeah, if you say woo 3 times, I disappear. It becomes the corner of the VTubing sphere I'm not interested in existing in. So, what about, oh, well, no, dude, nah. I'm a freaking engineer. I have a full-time job. I get swag from conferences. Sometimes I accidentally say a conference instead of a convention. That is what a dad I am right now. Doug isn't a VTuber? Not yet. Not yet, but we could fix him. Come on, chat. I could fix her. I could fix her. Slaps hood on VTuber model. We could fit an entire Doug in here. Listen, I'm just doing the I could fix her bit. I could fix her. I could fix her. Doug is a chair tuber? I don't know. I mean, it's never too late to change. Growth is always possible. Doug anime girl arc, let's go. So I should probably go. I should probably head out. Listen, we got nothing done on the headgear, but that's how it goes. That's kind of the expected behavior. And honestly, I'm just excited I got to yap. I got to really work out a lot of anger, didn't I? Please don't clip anything from this stream. It was bad. I had a lot of bad opinions this stream. Please refer to this section if you get mad at me for anything that I said during the earlier portions of this stream. Just please refer to this part. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm not a philosopher. And I'm not willing to debate any of these things because I don't care and I'm very stupid. So you're right. I'm just going to give you the W if you disagree with me. Have fun with it. Take it to the park, change its newspapers, take good care of it, etc. Yeah. Anyway. You guys want to raid server? She always raids us. We never get to raid her because the time never works out. So that's part of why I want to go now, is I want to raid Cerber because I love her. Okay. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? I love you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everything about myself. Let's go hang out in Cerber's chat. Oh my god, she's so cute. Every time I open her stream, I'm just like, chat, is this real? Chat, is this real? She's so freaking cute. Oh my god, I love her. I love her big stupid zipper. It's been too long. Okay, guys, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Thank you for letting me yap this morning. I'm really, really sorry. Anyway, love you, bye!
You all fussed me. I just wanted to look at the artwork and... Wait a second. Wait a second. Ow,